Lesson 3.1. The main focus of this unit is for you to be able to solve an equal sharing problem. And then I want you to be able to model equal sharing situations and examine equivalent names for those models. And finally, I want you to solve number stories in a variety of ways, resulting in equivalent fraction situations. Before we get to that, though, let's start out with our mental math and fluency. Read these numbers aloud. Remember, we say the numbers that are in front of the commas together and behind the commas together. For instance, this one we would say is 96,467. Same thing for the next number, 83,050. And our final number, 12,006. Two brothers go to lunch and share 3 8-inch pizzas equally. How much pizza does each brother get? Be prepared to share a drawing you could use to solve the problem. So I want you to think about how you would draw this. And I started a drawing for you. Don't laugh at my picture. Here I drew the two brothers. And then I drew 3 pizzas. Well, if I give one whole pizza to each brother, and you can see that here, I gave this pizza to this brother, and this whole pizza to this brother. I cut the third pizza in half. Each brother gets one whole pizza and a half of another pizza, or 1.5 pizzas. We could have cut all 3 pizzas into halves, and we could have shared 1/2 goes to this brother, 1/2 goes to that brother, 1/2 goes to this brother of this pizza, the other half goes to that brother's pizza. So if we cut it into 2 equal parts, each brother would get 1, 2, 3 halves. 3 halves is the same thing as 1 whole pizza and a half. Again, if we cut those same pizzas into 4 equal parts, so we don't get confused, let's erase the numbers out of here for now. Notice we still have the 3 original pizzas. The only thing I'm going to do different now is I'm going to cut each one into 4 equal parts. That means in order for each brother to get a half, they would get 2 of the parts apiece. Wow, there's going to be a lot of parts there. So that means each boy would get 6 pieces of pizza out of how many were each pizza cut into? 4. So if you notice, 6/4 equals 3 halves, which also equals still 1 whole pizza and a half. It's kind of interesting. This is called a mixed number. The top number here is called the numerator, and the bottom number is called the denominator. The denominator is down on the bottom. These fractions are equivalent. They're equal. So we call them equivalent fractions. How do we know they're equivalent? Because they name the same amount. Just because we cut this into 4 pieces, it's still 1 whole pizza. So use drawings to help you solve the problem. Solve the problem in more than one way, just like I showed you on the other page. I cut it first in halves and then in fourths, and we could continue and cut it into sixths or eighths or thirds. So 3 friends share 4 chicken quesadillas equally. How many quesadillas did each friend get? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into your math journal, page 68, and do this drawing. So I'll help you out with this first one. Again, 3 friends. Well, let me draw my fun 3 little friends here. I just draw circles or ovals for heads. You can draw a stick body, and I just draw what looks like 2 flat feet at the bottom. I'm not worried about the drawing being perfect. I'm more worried about what you do for the math problem. So keep this simple. Please do not take the time to draw hair, eyes, nose, pants, shirt. Keep it simple. All right? And for a quesadilla, I would probably just put 4 chicken quesadillas equally. How many quesadillas did each friend get? Well, I would probably draw the 4 quesadillas just as boxes up top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you could have drawn them as circles. That's whatever you prefer. So what I would do probably first is I would cut them into thirds. So to cut them into thirds, I go from the corners down to the middle. And as you can see, that's a third. There's 3 thirds equals a whole. When the top number, the numerator, and the bottom number are the same, the denominator, that equals 1 whole. Because if I said I gave you 3 of the quesadillas, this quesadilla, all 3 parts of it, you got 1 whole quesadilla. Now my parts are not perfect here, so remember, these would have to be exactly the same size if we were doing this truly. So I cut them into thirds. 1, 2, 3. Each one's into thirds. And I have 3 friends. So I could give this friend 1 whole one. And I could give this friend a whole one. And I could give this friend a whole one. But I still have this one left to share. Well, I could give this one a third. I could give this one a third. And I could give this friend the other third. So, how many quesadillas did each friend get? Well, they got 1 whole one. And each one section of this one, so they got 1 1/3 quesadillas. Now I see that this says one way and then another way. So I want you to do it another way. You could try cutting it at a half, possibly a fourth, possibly 6. Go ahead and finish this page and then bring it up to me when you're done. So pause the recording now and do that, please. So you may write this down as one way that I just showed you. Pause it and do the rest of the page. So this was, again, just showing you your page 68. This is showing you one way that they did it. Somewhat similar to what I showed you, only they actually did it also with 6. But here's the 1 1/3, which they just said that equals 4 thirds, because 1 whole one was 3 thirds, which is written 3/3. And then when they split that last one, that also is 4 thirds. They are all equivalent. Explain how you use the answer to problem 2 to solve problem 3, and then identify equivalent fractions as different solutions are shared. So if you cut it from 1/3 into 6, show me what that looks like. Pause the tape now and do that, please. So, Math Journal page 69 should have been completed, and you should have brought 68 and 69 back to me to show me as an assessment check-in. So if you don't get 68 right, I can show you how to do it the correct way, and hopefully then you can get 69 right. So you should pause the tape now if you did not bring those back to me to have me check them. When you have those checked, I want you to get out Math Journal page 70. You're going to do math boxes 1 through 6. So it says, number 1, write each number using digits. 3006. So all you're simply doing here is writing the number 3006. So I don't have anything in the hundreds, anything in the tens place, and 6s in the ones. Go ahead and finish B, C, D, and then finish the rest of the page. So pause the tape now and do Math Journal page 70. There's the Math Journal page 70. You're going to see the first 2 box answers, so you can correct those at your desk. And then I want you to go up to the Math Journal answer key and correct boxes 3 through 6. Next, I want you to do Math Masters page 99. You will have to get that from me if you haven't already. Math Masters page 99 just says, use drawings to help you solve the problem. Solve the problem in more than one way. Show your work. So again, one way, 4 friends, draw your 4 little people. And I'm going to draw a line down here to make sure I don't cross over into the other one. And I'm drawing my people. Again, please don't waste time trying to make them perfect. Keep them as simple as possible, because the drawing you are not being graded on. It's the math that you're doing that involves the drawing. Shared 5 pizzas equally. Okay, so we're going to make 5 pizzas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, here again, I know each person will get 1 pizza. So I'm drawing my arrows here to show that. I'm going to divide this one, though, into 8 pieces, I think. So there's 4. Now I have 6. Now I have 8. Well, that means 2 of these pieces would go to each person. So those 2 would go to that boy, this one to this friend, this one to this friend, and the last 2 pieces here would go all the way down here to this friend. So what did each boy get? Well, 1 whole pizza, and then I gave them 2 pieces out of the 8. I want you to do another way. Remember, instead of cutting your pizza that needs to be shared by everyone into 8ths, maybe you can cut it into 4ths and figure it out another way. When you are finished with this sheet, and this is what it looks like, I want you to bring it back to me so I know that you really know how to do it. So that was 3 students in Mrs. Orr's class. This will be one of the final things that you do for this lesson. It is page 97. It's a loose leaf shape that you would have gotten from me. Again, you're drawing 3 students in Mrs. Orr's science class are asked to share 5 feet of string for a project involving pulleys. How much string does each student get? Well, if there's 3 students, I would break this down into feet, possibly into inches. Pause the tape now and do that sheet. And when you're done, your first answer is done for you, but not the rest, so you'll have to bring it back to me so that I can check the rest. And that'll be the end of this.